Oh, just destroyed everything. Destroyed all those temples, huh? Well, you know stuff everywhere. Oh, look at all these kids coming around here. What
Get away. Back up. We have work to do. Bring the crosses this way. Bring it in. I said get back. Men, push them back. Oh, get up off your knees. Women, get back. These are common criminals. Bring them over. Let's go. Bring them back up. Men, take these children away from here.
Of course, that sometimes they'll bless Jesus, I mean. Maybe we can take them to collections.
Collection from what? These impoverished people? They can barely afford to feed their children. Come on out with it. Back away. Move. Come on, back away. You have your orders? Now on with it.
There are more nails to be driven, but let's not hear them. Let's choke off memory until the nails are in the cross, with its quivering burden has been dropped into its hole in the ground. In the scar cut in the crest of the hill, a place called Calvary, let's take new positions on the hill, so we don't have to look at the cross, but only those people who do.
Leah! Leah! Well, she can't say I didn't try. I'm hoarse from shouting. It's no wonder I can't find her in a crowd this size.
Sarah, I've been looking all over for you. How long have you been here?
Long enough to grow hoarse by calling your name. And Leah, people were looking at me, shouting as I was, but all about this here hill.
Did you have any trouble getting away? I simply said we were all out of oil and walked right out the door. Bold as you please. There is a crowd.
I saw the most handsome soldier a minute ago. He was looking at me like he wasn't really looking at me, but I could tell, and I just went right on. Imagine.
The nerve of these Romans. What's in the basket?
A little bit of fruit, some bread, and look.
My, aren't we eating fancy these days?
Well, it ought to be. It's been blessed by the high priest. And just think, Leah, me working for a high priest. Imagine.
It staggers the imagination, Sarah. It really does. So when did this all begin?
Oh, about an hour ago.
No, I'm crucifixion.
Oh, that. About an hour ago. I remember my first crucifixion. I was so upset. I could barely eat.
Well, things like this are upsetting to a sensitive person.
Well, I'm still very sensitive, but I can eat. But it is a shame, though.
What is?
Killing 3 perfectly good men. With us, without husbands.
Well, I guess they weren't perfectly good, or they wouldn't be up there.
You know what I mean. One of the women that was here from the start said it was just awful, the language they used.
Really? Well, I'm glad I wasn't here then. Though, the one in the middle, he doesn't look the type.
No, it was the other 2. They swore and screamed something terrible. But the one in the middle, he's hardly made any noise at all.
Have they had the drug yet?
The other 2 have, but that one in the middle, he just simply refused it.
Imagine. Oh, I'd never refuse it. Well, Sarah, how do you think it feels?
Well, just awful, that's how. But I do feel sorry for them, though, even if they were wicked.
Well, what did they do?
Well, those 2 were thieves.
And the other?
Oh, wait till I tell you about him. He was brought to our place last night. He was so close to me. As they brought him upstairs, I could have reached down and touched him.
No.
Yes, and something else. 2 of his men came with him. One of them was this big bruiser, and the other,
Yes?
well, he wasn't so broad in the shoulders, but he didn't have to be.
He was good looking?
Was he?
Did he notice you?
I'll say he did. I'm the one who let him in.
Really?
Yes. And I actually spoke to the one with the broad shoulders. I said to him, "You knew him, didn't you?" And he denied it.
Sarah, you didn't.
I did, and we all accused him of it. I could tell by the way he talked. You know how they talk in Galilee, don't you? He couldn't tell me he wasn't one of them.
Sarah, you are the one. Well, what happened then?
Well, something mighty interesting, believe me. When they brought the prisoner back, the one in the middle, Jesus they called him. This Jesus gave old Blustery this look.
Well, what kind of a look, Sarah?
Well, I can't rightly say, but it sort of made me think of my mother. When one of the neighbors had caught me doing something wrong, she was hurt that I had done it, but at the same time, she would let me know that no one was going to lay a hand on her daughter except for her. Loving, kinda.
Really?
Well, that's how it struck me. And then old Blustery, then old Grizzly Beard turns around and runs to the gate. Well, it was barred naturally. He was just beating on it until I came and showed him how to get out. And Leah,
Yes?
he was crying like a baby. The grown man was crying.
Sarah, if you weren't telling me yourself, I'd never believe it from anyone else. A big man, too.
I'll say. See that man over there? About his size.
Oh, Sarah, that Jesus one, he's saying something.
Poor fellow. But you can't blame his father for not being here. This would make anybody. Leah,
Yes, Sarah?
the man over there. The one I told you looked like old Grizzly? That's him.
Oh, no. Oh, Sarah, I'm frightened. Do you suppose he'll do anything?
Not him. I think I'll go speak to him.
Oh, no, Sarah, you mustn't. People will think you're that kind of a person.
Not if I speak respectfully, so everybody will know that we know each other socially.
Sarah, what do you want to do that for?
I just do, that's all. Come with me.
No, Sarah.
Do you want to stand here all alone?
No, Sarah, don't leave me.
Good afternoon, sir. You recall we met last night at the home of the high priest?
We met?
I'm the one who let you in. And you're the one who said you didn't know him.
I didn't know him. Yes, I said that.
Oh, you knew of him, all right. You're one of his followers.
I was one of his followers. But I didn't know him. I thought I did, but I didn't know him.
You were pretty sad last night, weren't you?
You baited me last night. Wasn't that enough?
And I suppose that's why you cried? Or was it because you were just afraid?
Not so loud, Sarah. People are looking.
Well, let them look.
But you're not being kind to this man. Sarah doesn't mean to be unkind.
Thank you, Leah, not to.
Don't quarrel. Let her say what she likes about me. It's true.
See, I wasn't being unkind, just truthful.
But you practically call this man a coward. Is that being kind?
I've been called many things. He called me a rock.
A rock that weeps and runs away. He didn't know you very well.
He knew me all right. He knew my strength, and he knew my weakness. He prayed for me.
So, was he such a really wonderful man? I've heard some things about him, that he was kind and good, and that he could do things, wonderful things.
Sarah, you never told me that.
He was very kind and very good. You should have seen him with the little children, or the sick and the hurt. I used my sword last night when they came for him. But calm as the hills, he healed the wound with his fingers.
Sir, this friend of mine said that he was the Son of God.
Oh, I thought he was. I believed it with all my heart. But I guess we were wrong.
Oh, yes, sir. A grown man crying in the courtyard.
You said that before, Sarah. Everyone knows all about it. Now stop drawing attention to yourself.
Well, Leah.
Tell me more about him.
All I can remember now is last night, when they were dragging him away. He looked at me, but he wasn't angry. He was just sad. I think my heart stopped beating when he looked at me.
I wish I had known him.
Don't wish that. Don't. To have known him and to see him now. I love that man. More than I loved anybody in this whole world. I loved him more than a mother or a father, a wife or a friend. I once said I would die for him. I wish I could.
Well, a fine friend you are, Leah. I think you owe me an apology.
I didn't mean to hurt your feelings, Sarah, but I didn't want to hurt his either. Couldn't you see how he was suffering? How could you be so unkind?
Chaff and thistles, Leah. If he was such a good friend of Jesus, why didn't he do something for him when they arrested him?
Maybe he was frightened, Sarah. That doesn't mean that you should...
I heard what he said about dying. I'd like to see it. Let it happen all over again. And he'd run and cry, just like he did before. That's what he'd do.
I don't think so.
Believe what you want.
No, Sarah, he wouldn't run away again.
Return to your jobs, girls. Hurry back before your employers miss you. You had no part in this. You didn't cause it, and you couldn't have stopped it. But now that it has happened, what are you going to do about it? Some men say that he died for everyone, even for you with the picnic basket and roasted chicken. Are you going to come to crucifixions again? The Romans had a lot of them. Or are you going to be different somehow because you've seen love on a cross and a repentant disciple in its shadow? Look hard at that disciple, girls. Years from now, men will tell you how he died, like his master, but head down, too humble to die in quite the same way. Look again, girls. Maybe one of you will become a disciple too. It takes all kinds to make a world, doesn't it? It takes all kinds to people to help during a crucifixion. There's one kind, she wouldn't harm a fly. She keeps a little sparrow in a wooden cage at home, and each day she feeds it and sings its happy songs. It's her second bird. She cried all day when her first bird died. That's curious. She has been here for over an hour, and she hasn't wept a tear yet today. And there are others like her on this hill, I suppose. Now the woman over there, she's a widow. Jesus healed her boy, they say, the apple of her eye. Give her half a chance, and she'll tell you all about him. That man over there is a puzzle. Some say he's one of the Dagger men who lived in the hills and taught revolution and revolt, armies and killing. You'd better not get too close to him. There's something desperate about him. You can't miss the one with the swagger. She'll bump right into you if you don't get out of her way. They're citizens of 3 different worlds. Yet here they are, just a few steps apart. It's strange what paths cross during the grim, black hours when the Romans crucify.
Hey there, King, Your Highness. How you feeling today, King? Hey, is that peg comfy now? See, they take this here peg, see, and
I
they
know.
make a... Oh, you do, eh? Most people don't. Well, they know you use nails, see, but it's not just the nails. See, they take this peg and they...
I know.
Oh, called himself king of the Jews. Only the Jews didn't want no king.
Thank you.
For what? What are you so proud about?
Excuse me, I see a friend over here I should speak to.
Oh, wait a minute. Are you too good to talk to me? What are you, maybe a friend of his?
I have nothing to say to you. Release me, please.
Oh, release me, please. Well, now, what a fine lady we have here. Oh, hey, looky here, everybody. This is one of the princesses, daughter of the king up there. Well, watch this, princess. Maybe His Royal Highness would like a present from one of the royal subjects. Got another one for you.
No, don't.
Why not? He's a phony, that's what he is.
Why do you hate him so?
Oh, listen.
What did he do to you that makes...
I know his type. I even heard all about how he fed everyone with bread and fish. I even went to hear him once. But you know what? The day I went, he got scared and turned tail and head for the hills. I didn't even get a chance to see him.
So you would stone him for that?
Why are you so interested in the king of the Jews?
I can't take this anymore. I feel sick. I have to leave.
Oh, the princess here feels sick. She doesn't want to see the king
Please,
anymore.
stop. Please.
Oh, princess!
You white woman! Silence your tongue!
Hey, I was only trying to...
Stop trying!
Hey, I've got friends in this crowd that
And
think
I
well,
have
you were
friends that
threatening
hate
me.
loudmouth women. If you don't silence your tongue, you'll feel the edge of our blade.
I was only trying to...
Go! Not another word if you value that certain...
Oh, you bully! You're probably one of them yourself.
thank you, sir. I can't tell you how
She
grateful
so much
I
as
am.
looks at another stone.
How could she possibly do it? How could she bring herself to throw even a pebble at it?
You knew him.
He healed my son.
He healed many. I have heard.
But physicians tried, one after another. They could do nothing. And then Jesus laid his hand upon him, looked into his eyes, and smiled. And my boy...
He was made well.
Oh, men came to me after the healing. They tried to tell me that my boy hadn't really been sick. They tried to tell the mother who had nursed him since infancy, I who had spent everything I ever had on physicians, that he wasn't really sick.
They were jealous of him.
They were hateful. They actually hated him. I don't see how anyone could hate him. Wherever he went, whenever he spoke, there were crowds of people who loved
The
him.
crowds. They loved the loaves and fishes.
Pardon me?
Nothing. You were saying.
They actually offered me money to say that my son was not sick. Oh, they did it subtly, but it was there just the same. They offered to pay me if I would lie, if I would deny that the healing had taken place.
You refused, of course.
I had never before ordered anyone from my home, but I did that day. I didn't care what happened to me. I told them to leave.
They think they can buy anyone.
They must have succeeded in buying a great many people. How else could this have happened?
But it wasn't for the money.
Yes?
That is his being betrayed. Men have other motives.
How could men be so wicked?
Wickedness? Some would call it patriotism. Some thought that he could have been king. He could have been king. But he was a holy man, not a politician. Some thought they could urge him along. Some thought they could force his hand.
Who could have been so foolish? Since when do kingship and kindness ever go hand in hand?
But he could have been king. He could have. He could have done so much for Israel if he'd have only tried.
Could have? What more could he have done than what he did?
He could have raised up an army and we'd have followed him.
This is no place and no year for talk like that. The Romans. Thank you, sir. I must be going.
Wait,
Good day.
don't go. There may be something a woman can do. His mother may come.
Oh, I hope not. I hope
She may
not.
come all the same. Stay.
You're more involved in this than you admit. Are you a follower?
Many followed him. Multitudes followed him.
But you are more than one of the multitudes. You knew him personally, didn't you?
Yes, I know him.
Then why didn't you try to help him? Maybe you could have prevented this. Who accused him? Who condemned him?
It was the priest. The lying, filthy, grasping priest. They hated him. They hated him because he threatened their position. He threatened their power. He threatened their traditions. He turned over the tables in the temple. He saw the lies in their eyes, and he called it by name. He saw the deceit in their heart, and he told what he saw.
But this is a Roman crucifixion. Do the Romans interfere in Jewish affairs now? Do the Romans so love the priest that they would crucify the man who criticized?
I don't know. I don't know. I only know that it doesn't have to be like this. It doesn't have to be like this. It doesn't have to hang there.
Doesn't have to hang there? You believe in him?
You don't know. You don't know, woman. He healed your son. But you don't know the power that I have seen come from his fingers. I tell you, God would not abandon him if he would but say the word. I tell you, even now, legions of angels would come to take him.
He's speaking. I didn't hear all of it, just the last part. For they know not what they do.
Yes, Master. Rabbi, I didn't know what I was doing. I never meant for it to be like this. I never meant for it to happen
He
like
might
this.
speak again. Those were the last words he'll may ever speak. The man who healed my son. He spoke, and I didn't hear all of what he said. I want
sorry.
to know all of what he said.
I'm sorry I kept you from hearing.
He may have said something that you wanted to hear. Oh, there's one I recognize him. One of the disciples.
A disciple.
Maybe he heard what he said. Good day, and thank you again.
He may have said something that I want to hear. What could any man say that I would want to hear right now?
We know you now. You betrayed him, didn't you? Whether it was to force his hand or put 30 pieces of silver in yours. You betrayed him. We'll never do such a thing. We might hedge a little, or compromise a little, or tolerate some things in our businesses and communities that he wouldn't approve of, but we'll never betray him. We would never sell him for 30 pieces of silver. Stumble out of our sight, Judas. Why Claudia looks so upset?
Mistress, why have you returned from the party? I could stomach it no longer, Joanna. Won't the master be angry? He's so often distressed these days. Try not to worry about it. You seem tired. Let me draw the curtains. Could you rest a little? If only I could rest, Joanna. If only I could. Have the dreams returned? Every night I dream Joanna. Every night I can see his face. I can hear his voice. What does he say? Is he speaking to you? Last night was the most disturbing dream of all. In it, my husband offered him bread, but he refused to eat. Then he offered him wine, but he refused to drink. Then my husband picked up a basin of water and flung it at him. But the Nazarene, he did not move. And then he spoke. He said, "You can flee, but you cannot lose me. You can hide, but you cannot escape me. Sooner or later, you must deal with me, for I am a part of you." It was a strange dream. Were you in the dream? Yes, I seem to remember I was holding something, a thorny branch, I think. And when I awoke, my finger was bleeding. That's terrible. Is there any word from outside? None. It was all done so quickly. His men are bewildered, scattered, and frightened. They weren't soldiers. They do not think as military men. No, they weren't soldiers. But if they were loyal, as men sometimes are to men, they would do something. What can they do against the legions of Rome? They are but a few and weak. Rome is great and strong. They would do something.
Well, wife, your behavior at dinner was not very becoming.
He was a man of little consequence. It does not matter.
He was a guest of Pontius Pilate.
It is done. He does not matter. You will see that I am.
Your great wisdom in the matter of politics tires me, Claudia.
My great wisdom in the matter of politics brought you to your current position, my lord.
What are you waiting for? Get out!
Yes, master.
You may find it was a mistake.
Well, you should be well acquainted with mistakes. They're your closest of friends, are they not?
Jerusalem is quiet, isn't it? Where are the riots? Answer me. I have averted the riots, haven't I?
The day is not over.
You always have such a tender bit of encouragement for me, don't you?
Well, you should not have done it.
Done what?
You may well ask, for the list indeed is long. But for now, I mean the verdict against the nursery.
Bah, he was just another stupid Jew.
He was a Jew, yes, but not just any Jew. He had a certain kind of wisdom about him.
Oh, the Jews are wise now, are they?
They made Pontius Pilate take down the emperor's image, did they not? By praying around your palace for 6 days, you beat them. But you were rebuked by the emperor. The Jews are wise.
I despise them.
I know.
They tried to force my hand last night.
And they succeeded.
They did not.
They did not? Then why was my lord dressed and ready to receive the prisoner by 6 this morning?
I have a sixth sense for these things. I could just smell trouble.
And why did you deny him a fair trial? Because you did, my lord.
I tried him fairly.
Your mind was made up. They did not try him because they could not sentence him to death. But you gave them the decision that they wanted.
You presume, White. You seem to forget that I am the governor.
There comes a time, Pilate, when the truth must be spoken. And for me, that day has come. Why can't you see what goes on all around you? Look at the sky itself. Look how dark and green. The day has turned to night. I have never seen such a day.
The gods are angry that you should talk to your husband this way.
This is a judgment on your crime, not some custom. The heavens have clouded over to block this spectacle from the eyes of the gods.
It's going to rain, that's all.
When was it to take place?
What?
The crucifixion, when?
It should be in process now. It began some hours ago.
Oh, Pilate, what have you done? He was an innocent man.
Would you rather have the city shaken with riots or one man die?
Did you feel the earth tremble? The heavens, the earth itself utters its protest.
Where's the incense? Joanna!
This is a judgment against you, Pilate.
You're mad, Claudia. I am not on trial for what I do with Jesus.
Pilate, all men are on trial for what they do with Jesus.
The gods are angry. Bring the incense. Quickly!
You see, I was right. The upheaval of the earth itself cries out against this deed.
Your dreams, they no longer amuse me. Your fantasies, they no longer irritate me. They infuriate me. It's not bad enough that you send me a message in the middle of the trial.
They were true words, Pilate. He was a righteous man, and in my dreams I have suffered so much because of him. You should not have done this, and you will suffer. Listen.
Mars, god of war, Jupiter, god of blood, hear my petition. Cease from your warfare. Still the quaking earth. Down on your knees, on your knees. On your knees.
I can no longer kneel to the names of these gods, Pilate.
Down, get down.
You have no pinch of incense that will clear these skies. There's no muttered prayer that will still this earth. Perhaps it is that so little blood is truly innocent, that the spilling of even one drop as pure as his has put this world into such a frightened state.
I washed my hands of them. I said it was their affair.
One does not wash one's hands of such a man. One is not free of such a crime.
They condemned him, not I. I called him a king. I wrote it at his head.
It was a taunt, a paper triumph over the Jews. As he troubles my dreams, Pilate, he will trouble yours. You will not soon be free of this man.
I am innocent of the blood of this man.
Then why do you wash?
I am innocent of this man's blood.
The blood remains.
The skies have cleared. The earth is still. It is like the silence of a parent who has wept and can weep no more for a son that is dead. You're wasting your time, Pilate. They won't come clean. You have imprisoned in the pages of history, red-handed in your guilt. Oh, but if you only knew, Pilate, the blood that makes your white hands scarlet scarlet heart white with forgiveness. But you'll never know that because you are too proud to admit to your guilt.
Hey there, silent one. Destroyed any temples lately? Come on
Hold your
down,
tongue,
King.
crazy
It must
woman.
be hot up there. Hey there, King.
Hold your tongue.
Oh,
Oh, you.
Good day.
Good day. It's a wonderful day. I bet you didn't see me standing here big as life. You didn't, alive and all.
Not here. I'll discuss it with you later.
Oh, you were glad
People are watching us.
You were glad to talk to me when you thought you could use me. Who is this man that you've gotten to take my place?
I didn't get him. I had nothing to do with it. Crowd chose you, Barabbas. Hold your tongue. I'll discuss it with you later.
You'll discuss it with me now, or I'll tell everybody on this hill whose bloody hand is nailed in there. Now, who is he?
Why, it's nobody. He's a fanatic. He's a vagrant from Nazareth, of all places. He's a gypsy sort that went around stirring up mobs.
Oh, so since when did the priests of Jerusalem so excited about vagrants and gypsy sorts that they would dirty the fringes of their garments attending crucifixions?
You're drunk, Barabbas.
Not too drunk to know that you wanted him dead. You didn't do this. You didn't do this because you cared for me.
What's causing you such tender concern anyways? A man who has killed as many people as you shouldn't be bothered by one man's death.
I have a right. I have a right to know who's taking my place.
That's very touching, but all I can tell you, Barabbas, is the crowd chose you.
You're lying. There's more to it than that.
You're a popular figure, Barabbas. You appeal to everyone's popular imaginations. Why, every red-blooded beggar, pickpocket, and thief in Jerusalem looks at you and says, why now, there's a fine figure of...
Save it. Holy One, I want to know. I want to know why you got him to take my place.
Barabbas, I didn't get home. I had nothing to do with it. The crowd chose you, that's all.
You're lying. There's more to it.
No, Barabbas. No.
They loved him. Why did they cry crucify? Why did they choose me?
Well, because the mob hates Rome and you hate Rome.
But what about him? They loved him when he entered the city.
I know all about that.
When he entered the city, just shouting. I thought they were going to knock over the Praetorium with their shouting.
Rabble. That's all they were. Waving stolen branches. Why, they were lepers, cutthroats, tax collectors. Why, they trampled every garden in sight. They stripped every respectable man's trees of his branches.
And why they loved him so much? Why? Why did they call for me? Why did they yell, crucify him? Why? I'll break your dirty neck.
Certain expenditures were made.
There were 100, 200 people on that hill. You can't bribe a whole crowd.
One doesn't need to. You regret that, Barabbas.
I don't think so. I've got friends in this crowd.
So did he.
Say a word against me. Lift a hand. Every sound that you hear at night, every whisper in the darkness, every noise that is made in the time, I'm going to come and I'll cut your dirty neck.
I don't understand you, Barabbas. How much blood have you spilled? Yet you're concerned about this one's death.
Look at him. Look at him. He was a good man. Have you ever known a good man?
I knew him. He was an imposter.
He was a good man. And he loved me.
What? He loved you? Who could ever love you, Barabbas?
He could, that's who.
How do you know this? Tell me.
The night that Pilate brought us out. And I stood there with him. And Pilate said, choose. He looked at me. Did he ever look at you?
Yes. He looked at me.
What was it like?
As though he's trying to see my thoughts. He tried to read my mind. He tried to make me ashamed.
And so you hated him. And so you had him killed just because of that?
No, so I decided to save you. I should think you'd be grateful.
I wonder why I'm not.
Gratitude comes hard to some people, Barabbas. Or could it be you're a convert? You wouldn't be a convert now, would you, Barabbas? You?
He's a good man.
Then perhaps I should arrange for them to bring him down and put you in his place.
Try it, see what happens to you.
You wouldn't die for him.
No. Oh, no, wouldn't any man? No, it's a choice of he or him. Let him stay up there.
Have no fear, gentle Barabbas. He will. I just thought for a moment he influenced you.
All he has done for me is make me sick to my stomach at the sight of lice like you. Now get away from me. Go back to your temple and your prayers. Maybe you can pray away your guilt.
What am I guilty? Saving your life? Saving Israel from the destruction of law, defilement of faith, ridicule of tradition.
It's funny how that men can have the best of reasons for the worst of deeds.
You should know, Barabbas. You should know. If you'll excuse me.
Just one thing before you crawl back under your rock.
Yes.
You were there last night at the questioning.
Yes.
How did he stand up? What did he say in his defense?
He said nothing. Or he asked an irrelevant question in return.
The man was fighting for his life, and he didn't say a word.
I'd hardly call standing there fighting for one's life. Obviously, he realized he was wrong and we were right. He just gave himself up.
Stop! There he hangs. Here I stand.
That's right, Barabbas. In a way, he died for you. What are you going to do for him?
What can I do? What can I do? Can I go over to the soldiers and can I pull the nails? And yet,
Yes?
I think if there was a thing I could do, I think I would do it.
Provided it wasn't too much trouble.
A man is dying for me. What will I do about it?
Let me know if you ever make up your mind, Barabbas.
A man is dying for me. What will I do about it?
And he died for me.
Died for me.
He died for me.
He died for me. He died for me.
He died for me. He died for me.
He truly was the Son of God, and he died for me.
Ladies and gentlemen, I tell you tonight, he died for you, even as he died for all of us. Sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I found. Was blind, but now I see.
Very pointed and striking message tonight. He did. He died for you, and he died for me. If you've never accepted him, never received him as Lord and Savior, this would be a wonderful time to do that. Invite him. Pray that sinner's prayer. Invite him into your heart and life. And tell someone before you leave here, I've taken Jesus as my Savior. Let's sing one more stanza of this. Appreciate the play. Appreciate the message in the old song. Let's sing it. Go ahead. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I was once lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. You love the Lord, say amen. We truly appreciate, and you can turn the lights on in the sanctuary if you will, please, but we appreciate what they have brought before us tonight. And appreciate this cast here tonight and all of these who have done such a wonderful job. If you so give God a hand. Amen. This little lady right here and many others have helped with the costumes, and many of you have helped, and we are so thankful. And of course, our husband's running the lights here, and we just appreciate that. Appreciate Miss Donna and all. Thank you so much for coming, and may the Lord bless you. Remember, Wednesday evening, 7 o'clock, and then, of course, next Sunday morning, 10 o'clock, Sunday school, 11 o'clock, is the worship hour. We look forward to the service. Visitors, thank you for coming, and may the Lord bless you is our prayer. How many of you could lift your hand as a testimony? Yes, I believe. I believe. Hallelujah. I believe indeed. May the Lord bless you is our prayer. Consider yourself dismissed. Thank you so much for coming. We love you. Amen.